Hey everybody, welcome to our Mom Critiques Wildbow, a proud member of the Doof Network. In this podcast, my sister and I force our mother to read Pale, Wildbow's longest work. I'm Jenny, and Malia convinced me to read Worm.
I'm Malia, and Jenny convinced me to read everything else.
And I'm their mom, and I want to go to the BHI, sort of.
This episode, we are covering the first half of Arc 4, Leaving a Mark.
All right, we're going to go over our list of chapter summaries. In 4.1, woohoo! Yeah, get excited. In 4.1, Avery visits the judges to update them on their investigation and is informed that the new Carmine judge will be picked by the end of summer. Jude, Avery's finder friend, shows Avery through Zoomtown, and they make a deal for information.
In 4.1 Extra Materials, we see the Blue Heron Institute information packet and get a glimpse of what the girls will be experiencing later this arc.
In 4.2, Verona goes shopping with her mom, has more conflict with her dad, which is not really a shocker there. She and the trio end up going to a party, and she kisses Jeremy. Then she finds that her bag with all her magical junk that she brought with her is stolen.
In 4.3, the girls go to hunt down Melissa, who stole Verona's bag. Melissa is caught after accidentally setting off some diagrams, which is always fun. And then the trio speaks with Nicolette to help ensure Melissa's safety.
4.3 Extra is the BHI packing list to see what the girls are bringing with them.
And Snowdrop is one of the girls.
Well, yes.
I just love her stuff. Okay. In 4.4, Avery packs up, comes out to Sheridan, and then avoids an awkward conversation with her dad before going to the BHI. The girls arrive at school and meet up with Zed.
In 4.5, Alexander, the headmaster, gives a beginning of term speech to the students. Zed and Nicolette give the trio a tour around the school. They set up their room, and Verona gets a text from her dad.
In 4.5 Extra, we get to see what it feels like to be in practitioner school because we get some bedtime reading from presumably Verona, and we get excerpts from some of the BHI textbooks.
And last but not least, 4.6, Avery and Lucy get ready for classes and meet a fellow classmate, a goblin exterminator. They go to Ray Sunshine's class, where it's not really a ray of sunshine for Lucy, as he badly clashes with her and kicks her out of class. Zed sees her afterwards, speaks to her for a bit, and advises her to go on a walk to help clear her head. As she's walking, she senses that someone's talking about her, which leads her to some of the faculty, which is kind of awkward, and well, yeah. So, Mom, what did you think of these chapters?
Okay, I really like these chapters, especially the whole school thing. That is so fun to read. Yeah.
Yeah. I want you to elaborate.
Okay, really? Okay.
Okay,
what do I like? I love the way they draw the diagrams to make their room, the crazy, the picture on the wall. I love that they get to go to classes. It's like when you guys have new classes, I'm always like, okay, call me after and tell me everything. What's the professor like? How many kids are in there? Was it interesting? Was it boring? And what are you actually, what does that class title actually mean? Because Malia's with law school, I actually kind of don't have a clue what any of that stuff is, so it's kind of that. And then obviously there's, it's just this is going to be fun. So yeah, that's all.
All right. Well, what do you think about the party? Did you go to any parties like that? And would you be upset if me or Malia had gone to any parties like that?
Okay. So the party, it sounds, it sounds a little bit like a typical party with teenagers and, except probably a little more daring. I never actually went to a party where you had to switch outfits, in 30 seconds or something. That was creative. It brought me it makes my stomach hurt to even think about it very hard because it brought me back. I can actually remember two parties. One's in 7th grade that was, and one was in 8th grade. And I changed a lot between 7th grade and 8th grade. But the whole time I was painfully innocent. I was so innocent. I mean, and I didn't want to, that was what I was comfortable with. And I was a good girl and I wasn't sure, at the 7th grade party. Oh gosh, I'm not going to tell you everything because it's too. No, I can't. I don't think. No, I can't. But it was basically.
Why not? It's 7th grade.
It doesn't matter. It's still like a painful memory. I'll tell you a little bit, but I'm not telling you the whole thing because people will not believe how innocent I was. But basically, I had a crush on Jake for probably a couple of years, and he liked me, and it would have been like really fun because I was at my first boy girl party, and it was like in the basement, and the parents were upstairs. And don't do that, Malia. Malia's making her eyes really big. Just stop. So so anyway, oh, I can't tell you everything. But anyway, so the thing was they had some of the popular kids that were at this party, and I was not, I was just a regular whatever. And but they were a little further along than me. I mean, they had done some kissing and some other stuff, and they knew what French kissing was, and I was like, no, So that kind of stuff after a while started, and I just wanted to dance, and I thought, oh, I wonder if Jake will kiss me, and if I should kiss him more than once. No, I better not. So that's where I was. And he kissed me. And then he wanted to, am I really saying this? I'm still not telling you the whole thing, but he wanted to, oh God, he wanted to, why am I even telling this? It was just, it's so uncomfortable, but he wanted to kiss more than once. And I thought, no, I don't think that's a good thing, And so then after like an hour of the party, I think he kind of ditched me and went off with one of the popular girls. And I was heartbroken. And I thought, God, I don't know. That was my first party experience.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah, it was really hard. I mean, I still feel bad, and I'm like, come on, Jake, So it's hard to know how to do stuff when you're that age, and it's the first time that you kiss somebody, or the first time that you're in a party like this where other people are doing stuff where it's like, why are we, in front of people? And I'm not even talking about doing stuff. I'm talking about just kissing, So it was all, I just hate that age. There's got to be some way to skip by it, but there's not. And then the second party, what was it? Oh my God. Okay. So 8th grade, and I was a little more comfortable with stuff like that, maybe, but still so awkward. I mean, I was so awkward. And this is kind of funny because then I like Garth. Okay. So
such a good name.
What a name.
Yeah. It sounds
he must have been cute.
He was cute. Yeah. They were, I mean, yeah. So, but he wasn't one of the super, super popular. He was, anyway, he was great. Yeah. So I like Garth. And the weird thing about this party was it was apparently a surprise party for me because I was moving to Hawaii. And so I was wearing these really goofy looking bell bottoms where I had cut the slits on the sides and just sewed like this huge piece of material or fabric into the bell bottom part. So they just popped out all over, and it had this big thing of flowers popping all over. And I was wearing that when I was staying at my friend's Karen's house because my parents were gone. They were off in Hawaii, and I was being like,
what?
Yeah, they left before I did to find a house. It was, the whole thing was so weird. Okay. So I was staying with this girl, Karen, and her mom, who was super old, and yeah, really old. But Karen was kind of telling me, you can't wear those. We were going to go to the store or something, apparently. And Karen's like, well, you can't wear those bell bottoms. I'm like, why? They're comfortable. And she's like, no, I think you should just change. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. We're just going to the store. So she's like, so I went to the party, of course, in my weirdo bell bottoms to see Garth. So that was my first thing. I'm like, I looked at Karen. She's like, I tried to tell you. I'm like, oh my God. So that was my first mistake. Really, I so darn many uncomfortable. I hate being in junior high. It should just skip. So anyway, that was the first one. And then they played Spin the Bottle. And I was terrified. I was like, oh crap. Just because it's just so uncomfortable. And I think I blacked out all my memories after that. And I'm serious. I don't even know. I think I might have kissed somebody. I don't think it was Garth. I think there was a closet involved. And I know. So all I know was I was really happy to just leave and go to Hawaii, where I'd never see these people again.
That's true. Not many people get that opportunity in middle school.
No,
Most people have to keep on going back and facing
the
same people.
And there was no Facebook or internet or anything. So no, I never. I see Cheryl, and we still will laugh about it. Cheryl is a rotten dear friend. This is
Cheryl with an S. God. Yeah,
yeah, Cheryl. I don't know. You guys got these stories started. So one time. Oh God, it was awful. I was a really nice girl, but Cheryl got me into trouble. And so she came over to my house after school one day, and there was okay. So there was Garth, who I liked. There was a guy in class named Bert, and there was Bert was the weirdo in class who became a rodeo clown, and he had a crush on me. Just don't laugh, Jen. This is a true story. You can't make this up. And he's a nice guy, but you don't want to go hang out with Bert too much. So there was a Bert, a Gart, and a Bart. But see, a Bart. Okay, so names up. I'm not. No, you can't make these up.
Bert, Garth, and Bart.
Yeah, that was it. Okay, so I was there with Cheryl at home. So I get a phone call because you didn't have cell phones. I get a phone call, and Cheryl couldn't hear it, but it was. Who was it? Bert the rodeo clown, So Bert likes me. And I was just like all flustered because I hate this and I hate making people feel bad, but I didn't want to hang out with, or whatever it is. I didn't want to be his girlfriend. So, and Cheryl was just loving this phone call, She was just dying laughing. And then I got all flustered because of her. And I go, Bart, Garth, Bert. And she fell on the floor laughing. And I was like, you suck, Cheryl. And poor Bert, the rodeo clown, knew that, somebody else was listening and that I didn't want him. And it was horrible. So I'm still mad at Cheryl. She's awful. Anyway. Well, I don't even know what the question is, but I just feel sorry for anybody in 7th and 8th grade because and 9th grade and even 10th and 11th and 12th. They're all horrible. So I'm sorry. So I don't want to talk about it anymore. Yeah. I'm done. Oh, and the girls at a party, I don't even know if they would have gone to a party like this. Yeah, I mean, except that this is a worse party because there's like magic and bad things that can happen. But if they went to a party where you played Spin the Bottle, it'd probably be really fine to tell me when it was over, but don't tell me before because I might have insisted to go with you or something uncomfortable like that,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I know.
That'd be terrible.
I know, so don't tell me. But yeah, you girls were fine. I'm not that worried about it.
That was boring. I never went to any parties that they played Spin the Bottle or anything.
Oh, I'd say that all came from me, Jen. I'm sorry. Oh, God.
I
can't even you got it so much out of your system. Like as a kid, I just didn't even have to do anything. So I better watch out for my kids. We'll see. They're gonna get into some wild stuff, I guess.
They are.
And we're in Texas, so there's probably a lot of rodeo clowns over here.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Another question that we had for you, Mom, was based on what you've seen so far, would you go to the Blue Heron Institute?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I have to say yes, I think so because of fear of missing out. I mean, that's it. I couldn't stand it if other people were there, like if you guys were there and I had a chance to go, and or my friends. If Cheryl went, it's like, okay, I just have to go. But part of it is because of the food. I mean, hello. I would just hide from everybody in the halls and be in my room a lot and not talk to people because they're going to use it against me. But I would be waiting for the menu for the next night. I mean, they have amazing food. So yeah, that's a big reason.
It's
But I wouldn't
definitely
trust anyone. And one of my favorite things is that you get to draw diagrams of the room you want and even choose the photos. So yeah, but to be honest, it would be too scary for me and I'd be freaked out every time I went out of my room. Yeah.
If you, I guess you could, whatever age you're imagining going to the Blue Heron Institute, whether now or when you were like in middle school, how would you design your room?
Okay, somebody asked me that later.
Oh, well, I don't know. We can wait till later.
Yeah, let's wait, because that was one of my questions, because that's like my favorite question.
Okay, let's wait. I didn't actually realize that, so my bad.
That's right, Malia? Yeah, or I'll answer later. Yeah, that was a good one.
All right. In that case, we'll just get to the listener questions and just talk about everything as we go down. Sengachi asks, at this point, Lucy, Verona, and Avery have started to become properly settled into their roles as magical investigators. What do you think of how that experience has changed them? Has this been a good or bad thing for them?
Okay, so I'd have to say a good thing. I think they've grown in confidence and in courage, and they seem to still be true to themselves. So I think, and they have each other's backs, which is really important. So overall, I would say I like the way they've changed a little bit.
Okay. I don't know why this question has popped into my head. It's a weird question.
No.
But when you think of investigators for crimes, one of the most famous ones, you're probably thinking Sherlock, but that's not who I'm going with, is like Mystery Inc. for Scooby-Doo.
Oh, Scooby-Doo.
So, if you had to make up a team like Scooby-Doo, who would you add to the trio? Like, who do you think would like be a good pairing for a Mystery Inc. of the Otherverse?
So it's just like a sign who's Freddy, who's Velma, or just like add two more people to this
whatever way you want to go. And part of the reason
what you're talking about, but I
thought of that is because like Scooby is the dog, John is a dog, so that he could be part of it potentially, but you don't even have to go that way.
I'm not going that way because I don't think I ever watched that. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Watched Scooby-Doo?
No, I've read comic books, but no, I never watched it. I was too busy making you guys peanut butter sandwiches and cleaning up your messes.
That's from like the 70s, right?
I watched so much
Scooby-Doo. In the 70s, I didn't watch cartoons anymore. I was going to boy-girl parties, so... All I can say, so I don't know. The first thing that pops into my head is if I had a murder investigation team, I would want Jenny on that team because she's a CSI girl. You guys didn't know this. She is she almost went into being a crime scene investigator nurse person, which was really amazing.
True.
And yeah, so she has like every crime book still in her room here that she needs to clean out at some point. And I've got a lot of interesting things in their childhood room. But yeah, so she was really into that stuff. And she's got a mind for that. That'd be good.
I still think it's pretty interesting, but
yeah, no, it is. But it's kind of creepy to make your life, like every day you come home at the dinner table and are like, oh, who got murdered today? And what was the crime scene? And she's like, I really can't discuss it,
I mean, like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because you do, when you go home from your jobs, you kind of talk about stuff. I mean, I would talk about maybe a little kid I'd taken care of, and Dad would always be talking about these cool surgeries, and Malia would be just cringing, like, can we please not talk about this? And Jenny would be like loving it, like, ooh, wow, that's so cool. How much blood was there, Dad? And so but I could see, so now Malia gets to talk to her kids about who even knows what law people talk about. They're too serious. I don't know. Because we would tell lawyer
There's also
jokes
a lot of
at the
rules
table.
around confidentiality and stuff.
Oh, we had that too. We wouldn't tell names, but sometimes you talk about weird things.
You're broad. It's nothing like that could be identifying to anyone.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
because
Like,
things happen. Yeah, so we were we had confidentiality, but because it's Maui, I mean, people, you might be going to school with, their dad or whoever.
you have to be extra careful.
Yeah, you have to be careful
on island, but
yeah, and then Jenny's got great stories, man. I tell you,
I worked in the emergency room at least. But.
Texas is the outlaw country. I don't even know. When she was working at Med Surg, I can't even tell you
stories.
It was a trauma unit, and
yeah,
so
no
we had
kidding.
a lot of gunshot victims and people
and
that we would
crazy
be taking
people.
care of, and
it was like really bad wrecks, gunshot wound victims, and then prisoners
in the hospital.
Prisoners who made a shank. I mean, I was like,
yeah, that
just
was a good
go
one.
home, Jen. I'm going to talk to your supervisor.
We actually would have a lot of, and I'm not even making this up, we would have a lot of because like when I worked in the emergency room and stuff, it would say like on your nursing kind of sheet, like the patient, basically what they were there for. And we actually would have a lot of like man versus cow. And or man versus horse, but like a lot of like man versus cow, and like people can get jacked up by some cows. I will tell you that.
Big.
I love cows. Really?
You do love cows.
You
just cows without the horns on them?
Both, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you can get really badly like messed up by cows.
I didn't know that. Well, they're
big
so
and
sweet.
Well, not always. Not all the time.
That's hilarious. Man versus cow. That's a great one.
And there's like a big railroad that's like goes right through Temple, so like sometimes it'd be train type of things and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She loves this, you guys. Jenny used to come home from school and she was this cute little, like 22-year-old, not even that, 20-year-old that would bake brownies for the, what do you call that guy? The guy,
the
autopsyist.
The pathologist.
The pathologist.
Pathologist, thanks.
I wasn't that old. I was still in high school, I think. I was
in high
17
school, yeah. And
18.
she would bake him brownies, and he'd be like, "Hey, Jenny, come on over. We're doing a really interesting one today." Is there such a word as autopsyist?
Dr. Manukian, right?
Yeah. See, that's confidentiality. You can't say it.
What? That's
he wasn't her patient.
He wasn't my patient. He was the doctor that I
Okay.
Yeah, no, he was really wonderful.
He was awesome.
He passed away, unfortunately, but
he
was really
awesome.
But Jenny, you were such a I don't even know. I loved it, but you were kind of you had your own pathway that you went. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of veered back towards normal a little bit, because had to.
You had to find a job.
Nursing seemed a little easier to find a job, and make a living. So went back towards nursing, but I do like all that stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot the question. Who even knows?
I was like, this is like way. This is supposed to be about Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
Okay, that's my answer. I'll pick Jenny because I don't know what to say.
Okay, that's like way off. That's fine. That's like okay. However you want to interpret that, that's fine.
Okay, Mom. Right. A bird wants to know do you think you could get away with murder in a town that the girls were in charge of?
Okay, I just have to default to I'm not clever enough to get away with murder, and that I am a really bad liar. I'm such a bad liar. I mean, it doesn't work for me. I really just need to tell the truth. So there.
So probably not.
Yeah, so probably not.
Sengachi asks again, where do you think Verona's relationship / circumstances with her parents will be by the end of the story?
That's so hard to read, isn't it? I mean, I really thought her mom would come to her rescue a little bit, and she just says no. I can't really see Verona going on living like this for, she's got years left. She's got like 4 years or something. So I'm upset at her mom, and I won't be surprised if she ends up running away or something, or turning into a cat. I just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if she turns into a cat, who do you think she'll pick to live with?
Oh, Lucy, probably. Because she's kind of her best friend. I mean, who wants a cat? Does not want to live at Avery's house.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I can say.
That's not a good
That is
cat
not a
environment.
cat house. No, it wouldn't work.
That's a very good point.
So kind of as a follow-up to that, Snowdrop's Tiny Fan asks, what do you think of Verona's mom now that we've met her in person?
Okay, again, I'm just really disappointed in her, and think that as a mom, she needs to make more of an effort to be there for Verona. I don't understand why she's not. I just don't really get it. If she's just selfish, like, no, I don't want that much interaction with the dad, or Verona's fine, or I don't really understand it. But yeah, yeah. Is there more? You guys aren't going to tell me anything, but is there more to that story?
We're not going to tell you.
Well, geez. Okay, then. So yeah, I'm mad at her. So there.
Okay. That's fair.
Richard McCrae asks, what do you think Wildbow's family was like growing up?
Okay, so after reading this part, I have to say, I picture Wildbow as growing up with a whole bunch of brothers and sisters and making forts and having adventures around the neighborhood. Just I think his parents were probably caring and supportive, and I just kind of went there because I imagine him, just having adventures, and he has such a great imagination. So I think he was reading books, and was encouraged to tell his stories to everybody at the dinner table or whatever.
Do you think they wanted him to tell this kind of his stories at the dinner table when they were kind of spooky like this?
Oh, yeah, that was probably his family. I mean, there might have been one sister like Malia who's like, "Oh, don't tell that. No. But that just egged him on more, because his parents were probably like, "Oh, no, what else? You've got such a good imagination. You could be a writer when you grow up." So, yeah.
So where do you think characters like Verona's parents, I mean, so Jasmine is wonderful, right? But Avery's parents are not perfect.
Wait, who's Jasmine? Stop.
Lucy's mom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's good.
But Avery's parents are not perfect, and the way he writes Verona's parents is, you feel it, Where do you think that comes from? Just
probably one of his best friends who was over at his house all the time building forts. You always have some of those friends who want to hang out and think your parents are cool. Rather than just going over to their house, they'd rather hang out at your house. So I think maybe that, yeah.
Okay. See that?
So I do want to say, Mom, that I was hoping that I would get this question to part of the story where you were talking about how Wildbow must have gone through a bunch of traumatic stuff to be able to come up with the stuff he came up with, partly because, just so you know, Richard McCrae is Wildbow's brother.
Am I supposed to know who that is?
Wait, Wildbow, Richard even McCrae? The author? Or
Richard McCrae?
He asked the question.
He just asked a question. He asked a question about what you think of Wildbow.
Oh, crap! Wait, that's not fair, Malia. You're horrible. Dang it. That is a good question from him. You guys are terrible. Like, what? Who's that? I thought he was like an author or something. Oh, gosh. Okay, Richard.
So you're probably like, good thing I said.
So I want to know if Richard's the brother who was going, no, not that story. We don't want to hear it. I bet he wasn't. He was probably totally, building forts and throwing dirt clods at the kids in the other fort and all that stuff. Yeah, he was. Richard sounds very cool.
Are these indoor forts you're thinking of, or outdoor forts?
Parents like me or like I had, they kicked you outside. You weren't allowed to. I mean, you watch TV on Saturday mornings because that was so the parents could sleep in. And that's when they had cartoons. But right after Mom got up and you had your cereal, it was like, okay, go outside, and you couldn't go back. You couldn't go back. I mean, I remember maybe going back and having Kool-Aid or maybe some sandwiches, but no, your life was outside. And we had we lived on the end of a dead end street. And so right on the next door we called it a pony farm. I don't know why. It was actually a walnut orchard, and they had Shetland ponies in there. And some of the
that's
kids.
Why? What?
Yeah, that's why. But I mean, it was the pony farm. So we would get over the barbed wire fence, and we would go play in the pony farm. But it was legit because some of the they had 3 boys that their parents owned the pony farm. So
So why did you have to sneak in over the barbed wire
but
fence?
we didn't sneak. We didn't sneak, but you had to climb over it or through it. And then we would be in there because it was acres and acres of Shetland ponies and walnut trees. And so we would have trees and lots of dirt clods. And so I was the only girl. So I was always the wife of it was cowboys and Indians, and I think it was mostly cowboys and Indians. We didn't have cops and robbers and stuff, but you'd always be, I'd always be hiding behind something and maybe throwing dirt clods at us, and we'd be throwing it at them. And then you'd try to run to another fort. It was pretty fun.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. And sometimes you'd ride some ponies.
Well, I mean, I don't think most people have access to ponies, but
I thought that was the size of real horses until I saw a real horse, and it was like above my head. I'm like, holy cow! I'm not even getting on that thing, So
were the ponies pretty tame, or did you just have to go run after ponies and try to just jump on? Or
oh no, they were pretty tame, and somebody would hold the head of the pony so you could get on.
Okay,
or maybe give you a boost. So you could get on, and it was pretty fun. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was so cool.
Yeah. Good life.
It's idyllic.
Yeah, I kind of did. I kind of did. We played, what did we play? Mostly football and baseball in the street all the time because we were at the end of the road. So there weren't a lot of cars. We didn't break any windows, I don't think. And if any cars came all the way down, they'd see kids playing in the street, and you'd hear car and you'd get out of there. But I was the girl, and I didn't know it, because I was, because I had to keep up with all the boys. So my brother he was really into being the quarterback and doing the plays like on his hand, like you go up this far and then you take a sharp right and then you're going to catch it. So I'm like, okay, go, and so I was always the I don't know what you call that person, but who ran and caught the ball.
The receiver.
Yeah. And so we had it figured out. That was fun. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Sorry. Yeah. It was a good way to grow up.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Until 7th grade hit.
And then weird parties, awkward parties.
Yeah, no, it was so awkward. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I still think it's funny that we were trying to build up to the suspenseful, and guess what? The question you just answered was Wildbow's brother, and you were like Richard McQueen, you're like, who? Who is that? Literally the person we just mentioned asked the question.
I thought it was a famous person. I was like an actor or an author, and I'm like, I don't know who that is, You guys are rotten. Rotten kids.
That be like? Okay. Well, it's funny.
Yeah. I'm glad
hilarious.
you guys like it.
If you could don't drop any Kenneteers. If you could adopt a Kenneteer, which? And a bird asks this, by the way.
Oh, okay. So can I have Snowdrop? I really like Snowdrop, but I don't know if that's a Kenneteer. So if it's not a Kenneteer, I would actually for sure adopt Verona because she needs a family who cares about her and who she can depend on. That she's going to come home every day, and maybe they would ask her to mow the lawn sometime or do the dishes, but they're not going to be total jerk faces about it. And when they say they're going to take her shopping or go for pizza, they would actually do it. I just, yeah, I would love to.
She would have been into all those gross stories too. All the surgery stories and everything.
I would have been super outnumbered.
Yeah, you would have been.
I mean, you already kind of were.
Yeah, you were. It was 3 against 1 for sure. Oh gosh.
So, Megafire is coming in again with their question, their favorite question of Which of the Kenneteers do Jenny and I remind you of?
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's still the best question. I tried to change the answer, but I just am sticking with it. Jenny's like Lucy. She's really big on justice, stands up for others. She can get angry. Malia's more like Verona with emotions, but she's always, this is just the thing. I don't know who this is, but Malia's always got to have something going on. I mean, she can't just have a day where she's just hanging out on the couch watching TV. She doesn't do that. You know, Jenny does that, but Malia has got to have like somebody that she is meeting up with or planning something. So which of the Kenneteers is that, you guys?
Right? I would think, at least. I would say that's more Avery, because she's on the move a lot, at least.
On the move. Malia's on the move.
Am I Verona if Verona had emotions, or am I like Verona in that I suppress all of my emotions all the time?
I mean, when you get upset at least one of us, like, you shut down.
Yeah, because you suppress your emotions. Talk. You don't talk. Even now, I've seen, now Malia has not only a boyfriend, but a fiance who's in the back. I can see him.
Who is the same person, we should clarify, because the way you said that made it sound like she got a fiance too, guys.
That's awesome. That's a great one. So now when something comes up, I don't remember the last thing, but if something comes up, like, oh, are the dresses going to be green or blue? I'm like, Ben really wants blue, but I really want green. I'm like, Malia, this is one of those times when you might have to talk, so she's going to have to do it. She's got to step up.
No, I don't like confrontation. Yeah.
You got to do it, Malia. That's marriage equals confrontation. It's it. That's my definition of marriage for you. I'm sorry. Tough love. Just deal with it. Low expectations and marriage is confrontation. You can do it.
I mean, yeah, you do kind of have to like bring stuff up, because otherwise it will just like all build up in you until like you can't take it, and then you'll be like screaming at him about like how like 5 years ago like he got to pick the bread that he likes, like the brand, and he got to do all this kind of crap, and he's gonna be like, what like, I didn't know about any of these issues.
That's great, Jen. Wait, while we're here, give Malia one more piece of marriage advice. She needs a lot. Oh, actually, readers. She needs a lot. You readers, I want the readers to give.
Is this the
listeners.
Question?
That's even better. Listeners, can you guys give Malia and Ben a piece of marriage advice? I am serious. They can use all they can get. Although they're going to do great. I didn't mean that in a snarky way, but I just like that. Okay, so Jen, you're on.
I mean, let me think. I mean, I think there's a lot of like good advice you could probably get for marriage. I guess if I had to pick one, try to come like go into like confrontations, or really just like anything with like from a place of love. And it's really hard to do if you're pissed off, and I have a hard time with that, and Vitalis has a hard time with that sometimes, but just like try to like go in with like respect and keep that at the forefront, even if you're really, really upset. And yeah, just try to use respect and love when you're talking to that person, even if you're really, really freaking mad at them about something. I mean, I feel like people will say a lot, like, you should never go to bed, like, when you're still angry at each other.
Yeah.
I am actually going to say sometimes that's the right thing to do. And the reason is, like, if you need to know when it's not going anywhere, like if you're getting so heated or so mad about something, you need to know, like, okay, this isn't being productive. We're just flinging, sometimes you just need to step back until like you're both calm enough to like actually have a productive discussion. And sometimes that means waiting a day or even a couple days. So don't make yourself keep on fighting or keep on going through the motions just because you're like, oh, we're not supposed to go to bed on this. Because I mean, I've, like, I used to try to do that with Vitalis, and like some, like, we've had a couple fights where like, we were trying to get it finished before bed. It basically just kept getting worse and worse and worse because we were both mad and kept going into the middle of the night. And then it went over into the next day anyway, and we didn't get any sleep. So, so that's what I would probably say.
Oh, I think that's great advice. That's really smart. You're pretty wise,
Thanks.
Jen. That's good.
I have my moments sometimes.
Yeah, that's really good. And the respect thing is so important. You know,
it seems really obvious now, but it can be really, really hard if you're really ticked off about something. It can be really, really hard. And that's another reason, like, it's so important to have like open communication and to try to not work on bottling stuff up. Because I mean, confrontation doesn't mean it has to be a fight or anything. It just means you have to be like, hey, you probably didn't realize this, but I was upset about this thing that happened earlier, and this is why. Could we try to figure something out to make it so that doesn't happen again, or that doesn't happen as often? But anyway,
that's good.
That's what I would say.
Cool.
It looks like Megafire also wanted to ask us, Malia, what personality traits, good and bad, did we get from our parents?
Oh, that's what I asked, actually.
Oh, that's what you asked? Okay.
I'm sorry. I had a question for you guys. Yeah. So I want to know what personality traits you got from your parents, good and bad.
I feel like it's like Jenny and I are pretty similar, but also I'm more like mom and she's more like dad in a lot of ways, that I think of immediately. But then there are certain things like Jenny and mom both really love puns. Like there's just certain things that like they're the same. But like, so all of my thoughts come into my brain are like mom also overcommits herself. She gets upset when she doesn't have something to do on a day. She's very into like productivity and going. And she likes lists. She likes knowing what's going on and what needs to be done. And usually if there's a problem, confronting it with a list makes her feel better.
Oh yeah, that's true.
In terms of dad, no, Jenny, you talk, and then I want to think about dad.
And you got to think about negative.
It's kind of interesting because I actually was going to say like a little bit of the opposite. Like I feel like I see more of you with dad and more myself. I mean, I guess I'll say like we've kind of picked up opposite traits from like each of our parents. Like I'm not as big with the lists and everything. Like I can be organized, but I don't know. I'm not as big at the list. I definitely don't have to be doing something all the time because I like to think like I know my limits in terms of like stress, and if I have too much crap going on all the time, I get really stressed out. But I think mom and I we have a similar sense of humor. And like I'm going to start this by saying, Mom, this is something that you've said about yourself all the time, so I hope that you're not offended by it. But oftentimes, like I don't have that much of a filter with what comes out of my mouth. And neither does mom.
That's just truth. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and not even for me. At least it's not in terms of like and not for mom either. Like I know a lot of times when people say that, it's because they're like being a jerk and they're making somebody feel bad. It's more embarrassing to ourselves if anything. We kind of just like blurt out something. Like,
that's awful. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's all right. It's fine. It's kind of funny. Yeah, we both love puns for sure. Dad and I like we both like medical stuff. We both like talking about all that kind of thing together. We both can enjoy just like sitting and doing nothing. I feel like Malia and dad can be a little bit more quiet sometimes, tend to like I feel like dad is one to kind of bottle his emotions up a little bit more sometimes, and you can as well. And Malia and dad are also like, I mean, you are too, mom, but like I feel like just the way that you guys think about things or like your intelligence is kind of similar in certain ways. I need to like, for me to think and actually process things, I kind of have to think out loud. And it's kind of annoying because a lot of people don't realize that, and so they'll come across me while I'm saying things out loud, and while I'm still figuring things out, and they'll be trying to correct me and different things. I'm like, I'm still like figuring it out in my head, and that's why it's just how I process, and I think mom does the same kind of
Mhm.
thing. Dad is like one of the most fucking stubborn people I've ever met. And it comes from my grandma Hamilton. She's the sweetest. She was the sweetest lady, but like
She's the most stubborn person.
she's the most stubborn person
It was incredible.
ever. I have a bit of that for sure.
I think you might have passed it along to your little boy.
Oh yeah, my kid. Like I haven't seen Lily yet because she's not really able to be that stubborn yet. But like, yeah, Miko is Grandma Hamilton incarnate for stubbornness. I think. Like, holy crap, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Although the thing about when I think of Grandma, it wasn't angry stubborn. It was just like a wall.
Sweet, but like
it was just like, no.
Like, yeah, no,
like,
it's not gonna happen.
Not happening.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah,
it was like trying to convince the wall to do something. Like, it was just like there was absolutely no point.
Yeah. There's no
telling you are never going to
gravity to stop working. Like, it's not going to happen. You can get mad at it. It's just not going to work. So
that's great.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah. I think Dad. Yeah, because I was going to say, like, I'm the person in the family who gets out of arguments by not talking, and that works with Dad really well because Dad just like talks and talks and talks and talks and then is done, and I say okay or nothing or whatever and I leave. Whereas like the like back and forth with someone, like they'll just keep going forever. But Jenny Mom hate that when I don't like say things.
Well, yes. And I mean, I can tell you why if you don't understand why.
No, I get it. It's just my brain doesn't work. And with Dad especially, I would rather it be over.
That's fair.
Yeah, we're both like see, I was gonna say like we both really like reading, but Mom also really likes reading. That's just sort of a thing with everyone in our family.
Yeah, we all like reading.
Yeah.
You guys used to get mad because
you'd be walking down the stairs to the car
Jenny,
again. I'm like, can you just can you close your book for 2 seconds until you get to the car? It was crazy.
Yeah.
Dinner
now
time.
I have my books on my smartphone, so it does. It's the same thing that I'm doing, but it just looks like I'm ingrained in social media, but it's really just reading books.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Let's see. All right. Next, Sleeping Beluga asks, at the party, we see Verona discuss her ideas about a relationship for the future, mainly being one that seems distinct from most romantic conventions. What advice would you have for Verona trying to pursue a relationship like this in high school? Do you think it's viable? What about an aromantic future in general?
I just can't see it going well. I mean, there's her reputation. Can you imagine in high school? I think she's talking about like sleeping around, but you don't have actual a relationship or feelings or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't do that in high school. She's going to get, and anyway, it's what about her feelings and what about the boys' feelings? And just what about really, here's the mother in me. What about the type of person you want to be? Do you really want to be a person like that where the physical part doesn't mean anything? You just, I think you can, I think she should aim for something more than that. And aromantic, I'm an old lady. So that means like what? Like you're just, tell me, what does that mean?
So I think the idea is that like she just doesn't develop romantic feelings for people. Like maybe she likes, having sex or whatever, but she doesn't feel the like romantic feelings. Like she could find someone like to be a really good friend or like love people in like lots of different ways, but not specifically the romantic one is.
Okay, so it helps. I can't relate to it very well. And if that person is a good friend and they are both telling the truth to open with each other, telling the truth, as long as she isn't hurting somebody's feelings. But I think you have to be careful if she's jumping around from person to person. I mean, not only that you're going to get some disease, but it just isn't, I just think you should strive for something a little bit higher than that, and it's not that I'm not going to talk about myself, but it's not. Okay, I already did that enough. But it's not that I have this huge judgment against people who do that a little bit. But I just think when that does happen, it's probably not your greatest self. You probably, yeah, I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know.
I do want to say that I'm not sure that Verona is necessarily thinking that she won't be like monogamous. That if she like starts hooking up with someone, then she would like have to be free to date or whatever with anyone else all the time. So maybe like like you were saying, like one person and she's like honest with them about the situation where she's like, I don't really have romantic feelings for you, but whatever.
Okay, so that's, that I can understand and that can be okay, but it's going to be like those movies you've seen, where they both agree, okay, we're just going to have sex to have sex, because you're cute and I just want it, and it always ends up in a big mess and feelings get hurt and then they both fall in love in the end. So, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen.
All right.
Yeah. So what do you, follow up. What do you think is going to happen with Jeremy and Verona?
Okay, what I really think is going to happen is that, well, there's two ways it could go. They could do what you say, where they just end up having this physical relationship and saying, okay, it's not really going anywhere. And he won't really believe that because he's not going to really believe it. He's going to be like, she's going to actually feel like I feel after a while, and she's not. And then he's going to get his feelings hurt and it's going to be very sad. That's what I think will happen.
Wait, what was the other option? You said two.
Oh, the other option is that Jeremy will wise up and say, okay, that's fine. And then he'll find another girl that really, has a crush on him and they'll both fall in love. And Verona will have to just, find somebody else or not. Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think that one's less likely? It's not as dramatic, or
did I say it's less likely? It's probably more likely. I think Jeremy will just I don't think he's in love with her. I think he's kissed her once or twice or something, and he's a neighbor, right? So he's liked her for a long time, but I think maybe he will wise up and be, and follow whatever is right for him, which is I think he probably would like a girlfriend, and Verona's not girlfriend material, I would say.
Okay.
Because she doesn't want that. Yeah.
True.
Cool.
All right. Thanks. Sleeping Beluga also asks, in these chapters, Avery starts becoming more open about her identity and shares it with other people. They say, good for her. However, she is hesitant to share it with her father and Grumble. What do you think of the reactions we've seen? What do you think the reactions of other parties will be? And how do you think the reactions of magical parties will compare with Innocence? Is there anyone you think will or has reacted in the best way?
Okay, so I think that was very brave of her, and that was good for her to do. I think if I remember right, that people have reacted pretty well. That also she has to expect some difficult responses because it's, for some people they're not going to be as open and as generous and all that kind of stuff. And I just think, she should expect some of that. I think if you're gay, that it's a little bit harder road to take, in my opinion. Even though it's evolved tremendously in the last 10 years, even, I still think that it's something that you're probably going to have that part of it is going to be a little bit more difficult for a while, and I think as far as her dad, yeah, of course, that's an awkward conversation. It's really, really important, and I can see why she just wanted to avoid it for a little bit. But as a mom, I would think, he cares about her deeply. He's going to come around and be like, and accept it and want the best for her and stuff. But it's still, he's going to have questions and concerns, and I think it's important for Avery, with her dad and with Grumble, to give them a little bit of space and give them a little bit of room to be jerky and awkward, because just give them, it's not all about you. It's also they've lived certain lives that like me, I'm looking at myself and I'm 64. I've grown up in a house where my dad was a minister, and all this stuff was supposed to be, a sin and all these kind of things, because that's what my parents were, good people and stuff, but that's what they thought and they were taught. And so I was taught this. And so it's like, it's uncomfortable for me having to, not right now, but when I was like processing all these changes in society for a little bit, I had to really back up and think, well, why would this be so wrong, and why, and I had to look at it in different ways, and it took me a while because it's hard to change your beliefs and your yeah, that's all. But I mean, for Avery, I would say just give them a little bit of space. Grumble is going to be even harder because he's an old man. He's going to be like have his own beliefs and what are they called? Biases, against stuff. But I absolutely, he loves you, so just give him, just be a little bit easy on him, and he will come around, because both of them love you. That's my thing. So they want what's best for you. The magical parties, I have no idea what that's even talking about. Can you guys help me with that part of the question? What does that part mean?
Like, how do you think people, or like practitioners, like, do you think that they're going to react differently, I guess, to her coming out?
My first answer would be no. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But again, everybody has different upbringing and background and different biases, different things they've been exposed to that makes them feel differently about that. And so she might, I think she should expect a little bit of that, and just be able to try not to have a chip on your shoulder about it, but try to just stand back a bit and look at it and be like, oh, that's interesting. They're having a problem with this. I'll just, and then just not let it define you. Just hope that those other people can learn to really appreciate other, there's other things about Avery. She's not just a lesbian. She's also super athletic and kind and probably smart and fun, and she's got a crazy family. I mean, there's so many other things, and she's really courageous and daring the way she did that Forest Ribbon Trail. She's got so much more to her, so just let people get to know you.
All right. Awesome. Cool. Thanks,
Mom. Megafire wants to know, now that you've been introduced to some of the main staff members at the Blue Heron Institute, which of them would you most want to have over for dinner?
Okay, so it'd be almost easier to say who I wouldn't want to have for dinner, because I'm scared of all those all the instructors and stuff. I have to say probably Nina. Nina has got a story to tell, and I can't get over the way that she was a piece of paper and turned to 3D, and then she became Nina. I think that's so cool. So I would like to hear her whole story and stuff.
Who don't you want to have for dinner?
Alexander. And probably never, after hearing this, I never want to have what's his face, Mr. Sunshine. He's not too sunshiny. You never know what kind of box he's going to put in and throw you out the door. So, yeah, and I don't know what a doll maker is yet, so I don't know if I want to become some kind of doll that people are sticking pins in, So, no, I don't want any of those people coming to dinner. Not ready.
All right.
So what about the two big ones you haven't mentioned are Bristow and Durocher or Durocher. What about them?
Okay, Bristow. Yeah, I like that guy. I feel sorry for him. I'm on his side, and I don't even know what his side is, but I'm on his side. And what's
Durocher? Or it's
the lady who works with the big monsters.
God, I thought she was the doll maker.
That's Graubart.
It's another. Big monsters. So no, what big monsters? Tell me again.
Just in general,
just really big primeval monsters.
What
really
she
we saw
so
her
far?
do this like intense scream. Not this arc, but like last arc at the end. Do you kind of remember that?
No.
Okay, it's fine.
Why'd she scream?
To summon something to fight the Hungry Choir.
Oh my god! No, maybe after a few dinner parties from now, but not my first one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they've had a class with her yet, so I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Azizard did it. I like that name.
Yeah.
It's Azizard did it. Asks regarding the 4.1 BHI information packet extra material, which classes would you sign up for?
Okay, so I look back at that, and actually, I honestly, this book, it kind of it's scary to me. Okay, so most of them I wouldn't even. I'd be scared to go to the classes. They're just creepy. But I have to. I picked a few I would like. Familiars, the other as life companion. I think that's really cool. And I think that's important when you're thinking about who you'd want to select. So I like that one. Hollows and vessels, just because it says something about spirits in containers. And I don't even have any idea what that is, except I dream of Genie or something. That's all I'm thinking of. And I'm thinking that is so cool because you can bottle them up there and never let them out if you have to, or else you could let them out when, I don't know if you can get them back in, but I that's what I'm thinking of as I dream of Genie. So I like that. And the Warrens,
to cut in really fast. Do you remember Matthew? Do you remember his whole thing?
Yes, sort of, maybe.
That he's a host for the doom of his wife.
Yeah. So who's in the container? The wife?
He's the container.
What? Oh my gosh, this is really something. I don't know if I want to be a container. I want to have a little jug, a milk jug that I screw the lid on. I don't want to be a container. Okay. Yeah, I want to. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. I tell you, there's a lot that I skipped over because my brain was not big enough for this. Okay, last thing is the Warrens, although that sounds ominous. It sounds like I shouldn't even delve into this class, but I like field trips, so I thought, oh, this could be really fun because we get to go on field trips. So that's why I chose
the goblins.
Oh, yeah. I love those goblins. Yeah. Yeah, that's why. Who's the girl who's the goblin killer or something? Starts with a J.
Millie. Legendray.
No.
Legendray.
No.
Legendray.
Who's the girl that is that has a girlfriend that is
Jessica?
Jessica?
Yeah, isn't she?
I don't think Jessica's the goblin exterminator.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
Okay, so I'll catch up later. Okay, never mind. That's it.
So Malia, did you pick out? Because this question was open to both of us as well. I feel like there's so many classes.
There's so many.
Hard to choose.
Yeah, I think I definitely want some foundations classes, and a history class. And then I don't know. I think I'm kind of interested in contracts, also not.
Nah, it's a big shocker.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, fairy are really interesting, but also I don't really want to fuck around with that. So, but it seems useful to know if you're ever going to make deals with others or practitioners or anyone, what should you be worried about?
I want you to take that class, Malia, because I don't want to take it, but I could ask you.
Yeah. And then I think the class on the site sounds neat. And then I'm also kind of interested in the worship class for divine others. And the astrology class for big rituals, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to decide. I definitely would do fundamental stuff. I think I'd be interested in a lot of the magical tools like enchantment and things like that. I'm not gonna lie, I would definitely take the Fae class. I'd be super interested in that.
Are you crazy? No.
Yeah, I'm nuts. I mean, I know it's probably. I mean, I just think it's real interesting. I would try to do this because visceral practice. They have a self-defense class. I was going to say,
yeah, I would also do that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Sight is interesting. I think whatever emergent rituals. And probably I feel like artificial realms like technomancy would be pretty cool. And then I'd be interested in the worship and some of that type of thing as well.
Yeah.
But it's hard to pick. There's so many cool things.
Oh, also the ambient spirits class, because it's just like the spirits that are all around that like decide when you're screwed, and when
All
stuff works out.
That'd be pretty
important.
sweet.
Yeah. Cool. Sleeping Beluga asks the best question of the month or whatever, I guess, according to Mom. The magic rooms are nice and designable as long as you give unambiguous instructions, apparently. What would you make your magic room look like? And what do you think the teenage you would make it like to fit you and some magic friends at school?
Okay, now this is such a fun question. I could talk about this for at length, but I'll just tell you some of the things that came into my mind. I'd like a pretty light blue room with clouds painted on the walls. And then for my picture, I'd like it to change every 20 seconds and be photos of good memories and of my grandchildren. The alarm clock song that is going to go out would give me a hint of what kind of day it's going to be. It would just get you ready for it.
Wow. That's cool.
I think that'd be cool. Because I've always kind of thought, you know how when you're watching TV, they always have the music change. You know, if it's going to just be happy-go-lucky or some bad guys waiting around the corner, the music changes. And I don't know if I want that in the whole life, but the alarm clock would be kind of useful, you know. And then I thought I'd like an ice cream station where the flavor changes every day and sprinkles and with no calories. So that would be fun, a little fun thing.
Nice.
And have a window with a mountain view. Nobody can see in, but I can see the campus and spy on everybody.
Yeah.
Kind of a creeper. I like
some
that.
augury in your future, Mom.
Oh, yeah.
Those are some Alexander vibes.
No, I want to know where that man is. I want to know where he's going. Yeah. So I can go the opposite way. Yeah. Yeah. So
the ice cream station. That's great. Did you think about this, Malia? Because I didn't realize, I didn't look at any of these questions. I didn't realize.
I thought about it a little bit. So yeah, I was thinking more in terms of like, I'm torn on this because I kind of like those lofted beds with like the desk and stuff underneath. They feel kind of like fun, but also like climbing up into bed is annoying. So maybe I wouldn't want that, but I would want a wall to be like a bookshelf wall, maybe with like a fireplace in it. Ooh. And yeah, like a nice rug, and a mini fridge or something that would be nice, supplied with like good snacks, sometimes like chocolate and stuff, but sometimes like fruit. One of my big problems with food is that like I feel like it goes bad too quickly, so some sort of like magical mini fridge that
preservative
didn't let, like, if the grapes went bad they would just go away or whatever. God, the alarm clock thing is so cool, Mom. Yeah.
You know what else would be useful is having a dumb waiter so that you don't have you don't need a refrigerator. You just ask, oh, I'd like some strawberries, you know, and it just comes from the, whatever that amazing cafeteria is. Yeah.
Well, I think that how it works, is you write on a piece of paper what you'd like and you stick it outside your door and like breakfast or whatever will come.
Ooh.
But who wants to interact with the brownies? Not me.
Yeah.
I think I would want a room where like it had like swirly rainbow walls because that'd be pretty. And I would want one of the walls to like be able to be like a TV or like something so we could watch movies and be like across from the bed. And I think I do want a loft bed, but like I want to make it so like I could push a button and bring it down to my height so I could just get in bed and then like could bring it all the way back up. But I still want there to be like some like a ladder, a way to get down, because I think it'd be cool to have like either like a little reading nook thing underneath it. That'd be pretty sweet. And have a desk in there. And yeah, I like the 0 calorie but still as delicious dessert place. I'm not gonna say just ice cream though. I would just be like straight up dessert station where it's like a surprise dessert that changes and is delicious.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I like your TV idea. What about pictures, you guys?
I think pictures would be pretty sweet. I'm trying to think what I'd want. Yeah, probably just like probably family. trying to decide if I want picture frames or if I want just and maybe I just have like where the TV is be like a giant picture of a family of friends that changes like every hour or whatever, and then otherwise just becomes a TV. But I'd have to be able to like tone down the walls and tone down everything for sleep. So.
Yeah, I also realized I want a co-sleeper for my cat because I like when she sleeps with me, but I don't like when she like sleeps like in a way that is inconvenient. So I want a little bassinet thing for my cat. And I also think I'd like one of those like catwalks around part of the room so she could like walk along the walls.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
she needs a little like by the window and somewhere where there's sun, she needs a nice little like spot.
Yeah.
That's
That's
cool.
nice.
And like magical litter box and whatever.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Is it Shin 7 or Shin V? What do you think?
Either is fine, I think.
Shin 7.
Shin 7. All right. Asks, question for Cheryl. How do you think the Kenneteers will fare as students in the BHI? Is their lack of a formal magical education going to hold them back compared to their classmates? Or are they going to be top students due to their abundance of teachers back in Kennet?
I think they'll be really good students, mainly because of how clever, courageous, and curious they are. And except I'm a little worried about Verona. She's not being cautious enough. And I keep thinking of that picture with the cat in the dog's mouth. I think that's a bad sign. But
and then question for us, Malia. How would you fare as students at the BHI, assuming that you have the same knowledge about the practice that you have right now?
I don't know. I mean, one thing is like I wouldn't have a power source, I don't think, so doing a lot of this stuff would be really challenging, and like I learn well by, I mean, a lot of the things are practicing and stuff, and I wouldn't really be able to do that. So that would be really difficult. Like I also don't feel like I feel like my view of the practice and understanding is still kind of basic. Like I haven't read the textbooks and stuff really, and so I'm not sure. I just feel like there's so much to get tripped up with in the practice, like the right notation in the right part of the right diagram and the right blah 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 blah. Like, I mean, maybe with the like having the BHI would make me a much better practitioner, but I'm not sure that I would like excel. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like if I was a practitioner, that's already everything in life's gone wrong. But I feel like the really tricky part, would be like, I don't have a power source besides like myself, which isn't great. Which, I mean, who knows? I guess I could rob a blood bank, but I don't know if that'd quite work the same. Probably not. But I feel like the really tricky part would be trying to navigate around all the rest of the students from like practitioner families who all have different motives and who might be trying to manipulate me to do crap or whatever. Because I'm just assuming they're probably, I don't know. So that would be tricky. But in terms of learning, I mean, it seems really cool. So I would try to soak up a bunch of stuff, but it'd be tricky.
Last listener question is from Waterfall, who asks, Mom, what do you think of other practitioners now that we've met more of them? The trio is referred to several times as wild practitioners. What makes them different from other practitioners that we've seen?
My understanding is that they've been trained in the old ways, and they also haven't had that much of the benefits of a lot of experience like some of these others have. And as far as the other practitioners, I don't trust any of them. I don't think you're supposed to. I want to like Nicolette for some reason. I'm hoping she's going to be a good one. And don't trust Zed at all because he's a blabbermouth. He'll tell everybody everything you tell him. So yeah.
He believes in freedom of information, Mom.
He does. Be careful.
Well, what about that part at the end where he was telling Lucy about Ray and maybe why he's a little neurotic and giving nice advice? Like, it seems like he's like,
no, that was really helpful.
Yeah.
It does seem like it, but it does. It almost. I don't. This book makes me not trust anybody. It's like right when you think, oh, maybe he's a good guy, then you're like, no, the red flags go up. Like don't buy it. So, but no, I mean, right there, that definitely seemed like good advice. You know who else I don't especially like is Bree.
Hmm.
I don't know why. They didn't even talk about her that much. See, I want to ask you guys, and you guys won't tell me anything.
We won't tell you anything.
Yeah, what's with that?
We're the opposite of
Steel
Zed.
Traps.
Yeah, you're the opposite of him. Come on. Okay, I'm just telling you, Zed might be harmless, but just a blabbermouth and kind of friendly, but his girlfriend,
Interesting.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know where I get that from, but
Yeah. So now it's time for Mom's 3 things, her 3
Yay.
main takeaways from this section of the story.
Which, funny enough, it looks like she added 4 things.
I did. I couldn't stop because I thought of the last one and I had to put it down. So number 1, Verona needs a new family. Absolutely. And I want to adopt her. That's it. I do. The second thing was it was very cool how the paper in the air turned into Nina. I just thought that was really fun. 3, the hunting scene with the cat in the dog's mouth is that an omen of trouble for Verona? Because I kind of think so. And then the fourth thing I had to add, because I had to, was the food. Oh my goodness. The food. Seriously.
So good.
This is school. And they got 2 choices. You can either have like this braised duck breast that's crispy on the outside with a sauce and paired with a nice red wine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go to school there. I'm just going to hide in my room with the little family pictures and the ice cream bar and have room service sent up to me every day. Yeah. Food sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good. It's definitely unique, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
now
sorry. Now I'm interested in those kitchen people. Yeah. That sounds.
What do you think about the brownies?
Yeah. Like, what do you think about the kitchen people?
I think they're
Brownies.
awesome, but I think, but there's some little signs where you're not supposed to. What was that thing? It was the weirdest thing. You're not supposed to acknowledge them. I mean, what does that even mean? I don't understand. So, so it's almost. I looked at that like 3 times, almost like it's a misprint because it didn't explain anything. So, I hope they're nice little friendly people. Well, I don't know. Maybe you'll get like 20 trays of duck outside your door or something. If you're like, hey, that last night's was really good, or you'll get a live duck, and they'll take you to the kitchen and they'll make you pluck all the ducks for the next dinner or something. It's a trap, I'm sure, but still, I think you need to, just tell them how it's wonderful, and you hope they have that dinner every Saturday night or something. But it says you're not supposed to, so I don't know.
You're not supposed to, so.
Not supposed to.
Yeah, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll get a rotten. That it doesn't make sense. It doesn't, but none of this book makes sense.
Do you think someone's going to end up acknowledging the brownies, or do you think that's not going to be that big of a deal?
Oh no, they will do it. Yeah, somebody's probably Verona. Oh my God, what's going to happen? That's the Verona in the dog's mouth. Don't do it, Verona, because Verona's gonna. It's you know what it's going to be. It's going to be she'll pass one of those people in the hall, or the kitchen door will be open. She'll go, by the way, my roommate, she really hated I love the garlic pizza, but my roommate hated it. And then she'll be snatched in the door and never seen from again. And they'll chop her up, and there'll be a Verona pizza next Saturday night.
Oh my God.
I don't know. No, come on, Malia.
Quickly.
That is not the worst thing in this book. Well, it's pretty bad, actually. It's pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, so that's what I think is going to happen. Don't say it, Verona. You watch. It's going to be her.
It's going to be a Verona pizza.
Yep.
He said.
Because she's going to comment on it. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, we haven't asked this in a while, but do you have a favorite Kenneteer out of the 3 girls? Do you have a favorite?
Oh,
and who is it?
Okay. It's not Verona. Verona's blowing it right now. It's either the other 2. Probably Probably Lucy, because give me a break. She's done everything absolutely right. She took Mr. Sunshine. I love that name for him, Mr. Sunshine's class, and he picks on her to death, and she's able to kind of hold her tongue, and then he makes a box around her, and she's outside the door. No, he's horrible. So I don't know if that makes her really a favorite, but I'm 100% on her side right now, and just like don't say anything, Verona. Just don't let him see how mad you are. Just hang in there.
Lucy?
Lucy. Sorry. Yeah. So right now I'm with her.
Cool.
All right. So now we get to talk about your book recommendation, which I can't believe you picked this.
Okay. Yes, you sure can. Okay. This is because I haven't read any books lately that I can recommend. So I have to go back to my old classic, or one of them. And that's, and I'm serious. This is for the listeners out there. You can't just read books like this. You need to jump out of the box. And sometimes poetry is a thing. I'm serious. Poetry is a wonderful thing. And one of I gave you an easy one, just an easy, you can get these poems. There's nothing, it's not like, some poems where they have these deep meanings and you're never going to get them. Just the poetry of Robert Frost. It's nice and rhymey. It has nice meanings, and if you memorize it, I guarantee you will impress someone. Just be ready. Be ready to just blurt out that poem and to someone you want to impress, and it will. It works every time, right, you guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Mom used to make us memorize Robert Frost poetry in the car on the way to school as like before we could listen to music.
The radio, yeah.
And so I still remember one of them really well. And Mom would always say that like you're gonna be on a date and you're gonna like, look into the other person's eyes and you're gonna like say this poem and then they're like gonna like fall in love with you and ask you to marry them or whatever. And that didn't happen. But I did once. I was asked, well, the whole class, we were asked for like extra credit as like an end of the semester or whatever like thing. Like if anyone could recite any poetry or like anything from like memory or whatever. God. And so apparently 2 of us knew this poem, although I knew it better than he did, but it's fine. So we like recited it together at the same time. And it was weird.
I'm so proud,
and
Malia. Yes. Do you want to give us the first stanza?
Yeah. So
Should
it's
we do it
walking
at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of it? Is walking in woods on a
snowy evening, I believe.
Is it?
It was until
I thought it was walking
that.
through the woods on a snowy evening.
Yeah. Okay. By Robert Frost. Whose
woods these are?
I think I
know. His house is in the village, though.
He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow.
Yay.
It's hard to say things
and
at
it
the
gets
same time.
better.
My little horse must think it queer
to stop without a farmhouse near
between woods and frozen lake.
The darkest evening of the year.
He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there was some mistake.
The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake.
The woods are lonely.
Lovely,
dark and deep.
But I have promises to keep.
And miles to go before I sleep.
See? I'm so
radio.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we get to listen to the Beatles' White Album.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, do you guys remember what our secret word was? If you're in trouble and you're kidnapped?
Yeah, but we can't tell everybody on that because it's still our secret thing.
Oh, crap. Yeah. Okay, never mind.
I can't tell.
You're right, because if you guys ever hear me, if I ever say it to you or text it,
Yeah. We can't tell in case we ever get anyone try to kidnap us.
Because they might kidnap. Yeah,
who's listening to this podcast, because I might need to call you and say the secret thing and they'll know. So
okay, you're right. Oh, that's great.
All right. Well, that's pretty much the end of our episode. We do want to talk about real quick. Our mom makes greeting cards, and for every episode we put out, we give one away to a listener. And so to enter the giveaway, Give us a comment on the Reddit post for this episode, or tweet us at Pale Comparison with the hashtag Our Mom Critiques Wildbow. We always enter the names in a random drawing and send one to the winner. I think we
Woo!
still have to pick out our most recent one, to be honest.
I think we do.
So
Come on, you guys.
but we're gonna do that and then try to get some cards sent out to you guys. Okay.
Woo!
All right.
Okay, well, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and leave a rating and review. If you'd like to support Wildbow, go to patreon.com/wildbow. And if you want to support me, check out my blog at www.createwithcheryl.me.
You can also check out Pale in Comparison, a podcast where Malia uses her knowledge of Pale to guess what happens in Pact, one of Wildbow's other web serials, and I try to not give anything away. In addition, check out all the other great shows in the Doof Network and support us at patreon.com/doofmedia.
You can follow us on Twitter at Pale Comparison or send us an email at paleincomparisonpod@gmail.com. Also, be on the lookout for that Reddit post in r/parahumans where you can share your thoughts on this episode and enter the giveaway. Also, quick plug for our Patreon. Jenny and I teamed up with Ruben and Elliot of the Pale Reflections podcast to host a little episode on Pate, Wildbow's latest story in the Otherverse universe. It's a one little chapter. It's very endearing. And that'll be released for all of our patrons. We're going to, at some point, release a tiny trailer onto our feed. But yeah, so perks of being a patron of Doof Media is cool content. And you should go read Pate because it's lovely.
It's great. It's really great. It's a good story. But yeah, thanks for listening and have a great day and week and month and year and life.
Jeez, that covers
in case it takes us that long to release an episode again.
Sad.
Okay.
But
Bye.
bye.
Bye.